Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Thunder Alley here. Today we're going to be discussing the Justin Herbert injury news. It is very concerning to me. Yes, Herbert will probably 100% play on Sunday, but he's going to be extremely limited. Just like Thursday's practice, his ankle was heavily taped. Friday, he didn't even practice today. You might be watching this on Saturday, but if you're watching on Friday night, Herbert did not practice. And it's just because he is resting. And Herbert said that himself to the media. He's like, thankfully it's Friday. If it was Sunday, different story. But he's got 2 more days, of course, to get ready. The Chargers, they played against the Panthers last week. They stayed on the East Coast. There was no need to go back to Los Angeles and then come back to the East Coast, of course, to play the Steelers. And I understand that TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith are very good players off of the edge. But the Chargers, they've already played against Max Crosby. They faced Christian Wilkins. So it's not like they don't have any experience against elite defensive players up front. They've only allowed 2 sacks on the season. The offensive line is a lot better than it was back in that Week 11 game when these 2 teams played. Yeah, Herbert won't have the same level of mobility. But Herbert, all he needs to do is get protected. He's got Joe Alt. He's got Rashawn Slater. I've been impressed with the interior, especially the left guard and the right guard of the Chargers. They've been blocking well. The Chargers will be fine. I mean, it's not like they have to put up 30, 34 points in this game to win. If the Chargers can score 20 points, they probably walk out of Pittsburgh with a win. The Steelers' offense has been atrocious. Penalties have limited them. They haven't put together a lot with their passing game. Even the running game hasn't been that impressive. The Chargers, to me, are just a better football team. And I said that in my last video, and I'll say it again. Even with a limited Justin Herbert, they'll be fine because a limited Justin Herbert is a lot better than the majority of quarterbacks in this league. If he's protected, if he can throw, you let your guys get open, right? I'm looking at Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston, who's coming off of the best game of his young NFL career. Lad McConkey, you guys know how I am on him. I mean, he's a stud, bro. I think he's going to be an absolute star in this league. Will Disley, the Titans, Hayden Hurst. I mean, the Chargers have plenty of weapons that can make plays. DJ Chark Jr., when he comes back off of the IR, is going to be a big-time addition to this team with his speed and size. Yeah, Los Angeles, they'll be fine. In terms of everything else for the injuries, let's just say hypothetically Herbert doesn't play. Easton Stick would be the next man up. He went winless through 4 games last season, 111 completions on 174 attempts for 1,129 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. If Stick does get the start in this game, again, hypothetically speaking, I still think this would be a competitive game. I'm not exactly the highest on the Steelers. I believe in them long term, but right now, I mean, they're coming off of a Week 1 win against the Atlanta Falcons, a Week 2 win against the Denver Broncos. 2 road wins, I'll give them that. But the Chargers, they're just, without question, the most difficult team that they've played. And if you look at the Raiders, they beat the Ravens in Week 2 in Baltimore. The Raiders are a very physical, tough team to beat. We saw that at the end of last season. They went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. The last team to beat the Chiefs was the Raiders. A lot of people don't know that. But yeah, it was the Raiders. Like, the Raiders are a very, very tough team to beat, man. I know Charger fans aren't going to like to hear that. But, I mean, that's just the truth. So I don't think this is going to be some sort of huge thing for the Chargers because they've already faced the Raiders. Now they're facing the Steelers. Those are pretty similar teams. And I'd even argue that the Raiders have a better offense than the Steelers. Like, they've got Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers, they've got Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. I mean, there's a lot of weapons on that team. So I think the Chargers pretty comfortably take care of business in this one. Yes, it will be physical. It will be close. It might be, again, 20 to 14 or something like that. It might be like, I guess that's a really close game. It's a 1-possession game. But I don't think the Chargers are going to have too much of a sweat in this one. And at the beginning of the week, I would have told you differently. And I did tell you differently. I was like, this is going to be a really tough game for the Chargers. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, the Steelers, their offense, I just don't think it's going to do anything against this Chargers defense. I'm looking at Pittsburgh. They're averaging 15.5 points per game. And that was going up against the defenses, again, of the Falcons and the Denver Broncos. Yards per game, 260.5, which is 29th in football. On third down, 40%, which is 13th. Pretty damn good. Red zone, 25%. Penalties, inability in the red zone. These Chargers defensive backs, are they that threatened by Justin Fields? Probably not. Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, Christian Fulton was a big pickup. Jazir Taylor is questionable. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Bud Dupree as well. Like, the guys in the secondary, Elijah Molden was a big-time pickup. Hasn't even been here a month. I just don't think they're going to be threatened by Justin Fields in this passing game. The one player that the Chargers have to take away is going to be George Pickens, because he can beat the Chargers in a hurry if they let him get loose. Pat Fryermuth's another guy to contain. But outside of that, Najee Harris is averaging, I want to say, under 4 yards per carry, which is pretty normal for Najee. Let's go look. Let's see. He's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Pretty typical for Najee. I just don't think the Steelers are going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be in 3rd and longs, which the Chargers are going to be wreaking havoc if that's the case, because they've got Joey Bosa, they've got Khalil Mack, and then, of course, Bud Dupree was a pickup. And even outside of that, they've got Tuli Tuipulotu, who they like a lot. Of course, the young player out of USC, was a 2nd-round pick last year. They believe in him a lot. So it's just a bad matchup for the Steelers. These are very similar teams. Again, Charger fans disagree with me on this. I think the Steelers have a slightly better defense than the Chargers, and that's not just to say they have bigger names. Yeah, they've got bigger names. I like the Steelers' defense a little bit more, primarily because of TJ Watt. I mean, like, whenever TJ Watt is on the field, they're a top 5 defense pretty much every season. Yeah, the Chargers, they've got Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. To me, that's better overall than what the Steelers have. Linebackers are better for the Steelers. And then I think the second, maybe not. The Chargers secondary is a lot better. I don't like the Steelers secondary. I just really don't. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter, but then, like, outside of that, very, very bleak. Yeah, Corey Trice Jr. had a pick off of Bo Nix, but that was more of just a bad play by a rookie in the red zone. Dante Jackson he's decent, right? I really do like Asante Samuel. I like Derwin James for a lot of reasons. I mean, you talk about just his physicality, what he brings. Christian Fulton is underrated. The safeties, too, pretty solid. And then, like, the linebackers for the Chargers aren't really that bad. Like Denzel Perryman, you got Henley as well. I mean, it's really solid. Junior Colson's was listed as out, so he won't play in this game. Of course, rookie out of Michigan, coming over from with Harbaugh in that national championship run they had in their DC. He's a guy that a lot of people said was the best linebacker in this class coming into college. I know that. So, like, the defense for the Chargers, I mean, maybe Charger fans are right. That's why I like covering the Chargers. I think their fans are very smart, and they know football. It looks like the Steelers have a better defense because of TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter, Patrick Queen, Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton's a stud. It's really close, but I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to throw the ball, and I don't see the Chargers having much of an issue throwing the ball because we know Herbert's going to be protected, and we know that he's got a cannon of an arm. He can make any throw. He's a generational talent. Justin Herbert's a generational talent. If you're starting a franchise, it's Mahomes, and then after that, maybe it's Stroud, it's Herbert, Lamar, Josh Allen, probably Josh Allen. But then after that, I mean, I think like Lamar and Herbert are pretty much in the same tier. Lamar has 2 MVPs, but the dude has had elite defenses. He's had a lot around him. And in the biggest moments, Lamar seems to lose his team a game versus win it. In week 1 against the Chiefs, ends up missing his tight end Isaiah Likely in the end zone. And then we also saw in the playoffs, like that, a couple of picks that he'd like to have back. But Justin Herbert, he's always had a bad defense, no pass protection. He finally has talent. His team is 2-0. Yeah, his ankle is going to be hurting him. It is hurting him. It's going to limit his mobility. Week 11, 2 years ago, when these two teams met, Herbert's mobility pretty much won them that game. But things are a lot different because the Steelers scored what? A lot. I don't know. It was like 30 something. They scored a lot of points in that game. There's no way in hell the Steelers are scoring that many points in this game. Again, if the Chargers score 20, they probably win this game. 20-17, 20-14, 20-10. The Steelers offense is just nothing special. It has not been that good. So, yeah, guys, Thunder Alley,